Let me show you how to solve this math question on the board. You are given x root 18 plus square root of 32 equal to 10 root 2. And we are expected to find the value of this x. If you want to solve this question correctly, the first thing to do is to break these numbers down. These numbers that are inside the square root sign, we are going to break them down into 2, such that one of the numbers will be a perfect square and the other one will be a non-perfect square. Now, what do you mean by perfect square and non-perfect square? Let me give you some examples before I explain what it means. You have something like this: 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, and so on. You see these numbers here. If you find the square root of these numbers, you will get a whole number. You will not get any decimal in the answer. So any number that when you find the square root, it will give you a whole number. That number is called a perfect square. So you are going to break this 18 down into 2, such that one of the numbers will be a perfect square and the other will be a non-perfect square. 18 can be written as 3 times 6, right? 3 is not a perfect square and 6 is not also a perfect square. So we cannot use 3 and 6. You understand? Now this 18 can also be written as 9 times 2. 9 is a perfect square, 2 is a non-perfect square. Remember I told you that one of the numbers must be a perfect square and the other one will be a non-perfect square. So that means 9 times 2 will fit into this. You understand? So because 9 is a perfect square, look at 9 here. It's a perfect square. So we can use 9 times 2. So here's the solution. We have our x, then root. In place of this 18, write 9 times 2. Then plus square root of this 32 can be written as 16 times 2. 16 is a perfect square. Look at it. 2 is not a perfect square. You understand? Then everything now equal to 10 root 2. Now, because we have these two numbers being multiplied together inside the square root sign, we are going to apply something called multiplication rule of third. According to that multiplication rule of third, if you have something like this, it's the same thing as saying, now this means x times the square root of this. So if you have something like this, whereby two numbers are being multiplied inside square root sign, you can simply write it as square root of this first one times the square root of the second one. Understand? Then plus, we do the same thing here, square root of 16 times square root of 2. Then equal to 10 root 2. So here we have x times square root of 9 means a number that can multiply its own self twice to get this 9. That number is 3. Why? Because 3 times 3 into 2 places will give us this 9. So the square root of 9 will give us 3. Then times. If you find the square root of 2, you have decimals, so you have to write down the square root of 2. Then plus. The square root of 16 means a number that can multiply itself twice to get this 16. That number is 4. Why? Because 4 times 4 into 2 places will give us the 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. Then times this square root of 2 equal to 10 root 2. Now let us do the multiplication. X times 3 will give us 3x. That 3x now times root 2 will give us 3x root 2. Then plus 4 times root 2, that will give us 4 root 2. Then equal to 10 root 2. Let me cross space here. Alright, now the next thing to do is to collect like terms. Because this one has x, we can do two things here. We can either collect like terms or we can factorize. Whichever way we do it, we are going to get the same answer. You understand? Let us factorize. I think that will be easier for us. Factorization means that we should bring out what is common between these two. Now, if you look at these two, what is common? Square root of 2 is here and square root of 2 is here. So we have to bring that square root of 2 out. So the square root of 2 is common. Bring it out. After you have brought it out, you open a bracket. Now, because we have taken away square root of 2 from this, we are left with 3x here. So we have 3x, then plus. For this one, we are going to be left with 4 because we have taken away this square root of 2. Hope you understand. So we are going to be left with this 4. I have 4 here. Then we close the bracket. Then everything equal to this 10 root 2. The next thing to do now is to divide both sides by this square root of 2. We'll divide this by square root of 2 and also divide this by square root of 2. On the left hand side, square root of 2 cancels square root of 2. And we are left with 3x plus 4. Then equal to, on the right, square root of 2 also cancels square root of 2. We are left with 10. Now the next thing to do is to collect like terms. So we are going to move this 4 to the right hand side of the equation so that it will meet with its 10. When we do that, we are going to be left with 3x equal to this 10. When this positive 4 crosses to the right, it changes to negative 4. Now we have 3x equal to 10 minus 4, that will give us 6. We're looking for x, not 3x, so we have to divide both sides by this 3 that is attached to the x. We'll divide this by 3 and divide this by 3. On the left, 3 will cancel 3, and we have x equal to 6 divided by 3, that will give us 2. This is the answer to this question. If you find this video interesting, say something in the comment section.